Tepu, assalamu alaikum, namaste, haru nefer. This is Qesankh with another exciting video for you. And in this video, I want to talk about how the notion of being at peace is nothing but BS. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. And if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you're interested in learning more about my spiritual teachings, you can scroll down below and there are about 4 links to ebooks. You can click on any one of those links, download a free ebook today and start reading it. However, if that's not enough, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, and $20 per month, or $20 per month. And each level, you'll get exclusive content on how to make a magical amulet, how to do your proper breathing exercise, how to do self-hypnosis to get rid of negative habits, how to do astral projection, how to do lucid dreaming, and much, much more. And if you are a Osera level supporter, you'll get your oracle readings for free. So become a Patreon supporter today. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. So Haroon Nefer, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Grand Rising. Sorry about the transmission. There may be a little interruption here and there. We did have some rain and a storm here. So you may see some freezing and intermittent blackouts, but that's okay. We're gonna still push through that. I want to talk about this notion in Eastern mysticism where it's all about being at peace in the face of the greatest obstacles that are going on in your life. Now, you have these gurus, whether they be from India, from China, from Africa, who come and they profess to have this knowledge, this sacred knowledge. And many of them say in order to get there, you've got to be at peace, nirvana. And it's a half-truthful statement, but I'm not going to get into that rabbit hole. I'll give you an example of how this works and why is having, well, first of all, if you have a teacher, whether it be a guru, a sage, who comes to you in the middle of you going through stress, obstacles, and things of that nature, and tells you to be at peace, you need to get a new teacher. I'm sorry. That's the facts of it. It is akin to these Christian ministers standing on the pulpit, like Joel Osteen. He's famous for doing this, and smiling. And as I was sitting here taking my medication, I was trying to break the pills in half. And I recalled how a lot of people who have been, who are born again, will talk about, I had all these drugs I was taking, I was doing all these foul things, sleeping around. And that one day I got on my knees and I prayed to Jesus and I said, Jesus, I accept you, my Lord and Savior. And this calm overcame me. And since then, I've had a light inside of me. Now that may sound like awesome. And you may even think of like, maybe if I do that, I'll feel that same calm all over me. But that's a bunch of bull. That is an absolute bunch of bull. And like I said, you'll see ministers like Creflo Dollar and Joel Osteen standing on the pulpit and smiling and talking about how happy their life is because they've accepted Jesus. Listen, Joel Osteen is happy because he's basically taking money from his congregation and living a lavish lifestyle. I would be smiling too every day if I was getting that amount of money. And Creflo Dollar trying to buy a jet, private jet and all that. So no wonder why they're smiling. So I want you to, and in the midst of their lavish lifestyle, their congregation is suffering because they don't understand the secret to being at peace. And that is represented here in the Meduniter or the hieroglyphics. This is peace at rest. Now, the only way you can get to peace is through Haru or Horus. I'm going to elaborate on that. Young man I knew very well. He was a Russian Jew, and he had got upset that something had happened between him and his girlfriend. And as soon as he hung up the phone, I can tell he was stressed out. He was in a certain degree of pain. He was angry. And he asked me if I could help him be at peace, because he knew I was into the Kemetic spiritual culture. And I looked at him and I told him the honest truth. I said, I can't get you into a state of peace right now, but I can help you on your journey. And he was like, okay, that's good. That's good. I want that. So what did I mean about that? Being at peace is a skill that takes practice, repetition, over and over and over again until you master it. And when you master being at peace, then your life will be nechem, sweet. But there is no way, unless you're a very gifted individual, that in the midst of your stress, you're going to accept the Savior or will yourself to be at peace, and it'll just happen like that. It doesn't work that way, because there are certain physiological things that happen because stress is contained in the body. And your definitions as you go through life as defining things will get you in trouble. Like, for example, my girlfriend upset me. Well, no one has the power to upset you. You control how you react to every situation. So that is a belief system that you must adopt that will help you on your journey to being at peace. When you understand Tahuti's truth, which is nothing has a quality in and of itself, you color it, you give it a quality. And Sebek's truth is, if you believe it, that very belief can cause a physiological reaction. So we go through life with these stresses and situations that we incorrectly tag on to that situation a definition of, this situation is stressful, that situation is hostile. And in reality, they are neither. Well, understand this. You go into trance many times a day. Being at anger is a trance. Being sad is a trance. Being depressed is a state of trance. And trance is basically an alternate state of consciousness. But the original essence of who you are is amen, at peace, at rest. The problem is you have adapted these programs, these conditionings, these patterns that are triggered when you're around a certain thing, or when that belief system pops into your head. Oh, if I go back with her, it's going to be stressful and all that. So that's a belief system, and that's going to cause you to be stressed in the body. So knowing that your muscles tense and react to what you define or is incorrectly defined as stressful, you have to deal with that. You've got to teach the body, number one, the proper breathing, because when you are upset, angry, depressed, your breathing, which is supposed to be rhythmic, changes. So you've got to get the breathing back to its default setting. And next is you have to relieve the stress that's in the body. Then when that happens, you can then focus on a visualization of you being at peace. And then you can recite a certain mantra, and that will help as well. But it doesn't mean automatically you'll get into that state of peace. It means that you'll start to go up that stairs. You'll start to climb that stairs, and to your ultimate eventual goal of being at peace. So there's no magic formula that's going to automatically put you in that nirvana state, that peaceful state. You understand what I'm saying? I wish there was a pill. I wish there was a savior that you can just accept and all your troubles would disappear and you'd be happy ever after. No, it doesn't work that way. That's a con game. So instead of the guru telling you to be at peace, the guru should be training you on how to be at peace. The guru should be telling you the proper breathing rate, how to relax the muscles, the right belief system, a truism, a right belief system for your mind. And what you'll find is through repetition and exposing yourself to that same, what you perceive as stressful situation. Continued exposure to that while you're practicing the techniques, that so-called stressful situation won't bring you any stress anymore. When you encounter that thing or that woman or man, you'll be at peace. It won't bother you anymore. I had a friend who went skydiving. And after skydiving, he just felt like life was easy after that. He says because skydiving was the most frightening thing for him. And after he accomplished that goal and did it, he felt everything else in life was easy. So I want you to understand that anyone that tries to sell you on the fact that when you have these things that occur in your life to be at peace really doesn't understand peace. And there's another component which I will reveal to you. See, many people will sit down and meditate and go, and try to rid the mind of that stressful situation, because a lot of times we role play, we play that scenario over and over again in our heads, which makes us more upset and angry. Why did she say this? Why did he do that? And we try to get rid of that emotion, that feeling, and just keep our minds blank and just focus on being at peace. That is the absolute wrong thing to do. You must accept the fact that you are having this emotional response. That's the first thing. Don't deny the fact that you are having this triggered response. That makes it worse. You accept it. Say, I understand that I'm having this emotional reaction and I'm working toward a state of peace. That's what you have to do. And when you accept the fact that you're going through this emotional state, it won't be as difficult as you fighting against the current, if that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? That's one of the keys to getting you to that state of peace. You're not going to arrive there automatically. That doesn't happen. Now, one of the things I talked about me taking medication, one of the things I have, I'm affected by the change in seasons. And when we have our long winters, it's less daylight. So I get depressed during that period, really, really bad. So I have to make sure that when fall comes, I'm preparing myself for the change in time and the dark winters. I say that to also, and I make sure I stack up on certain vitamins, D, and all that. Now, with certain extreme cases, there are people who have indulged in their emotions so much so that the emotions are really, really strong, and it'll take a lot of work to get them to that state of peace. And I'll tell you why. Because this society has rewarded you for being emotional. It celebrates you being emotional and being sahu, which is acting out the animal spirit. If you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphics, you'll see that they depict usually the body of a human and the head of an animal. Now, this anthropomorphic figure is meant to symbolize your animal nature, and you must rise above that. The oligarchy, the ruling elite, know, and they have studied Black people to a T. They know that Black people are emotional. So they know how to, and Black people, they get emotional, they react emotionally, and then it doesn't last long. So they know how to trigger us, and they know how to wait us out, because they know we'll eventually not follow through. So we have to learn, especially us who are faced with racism on a daily basis, to be at peace. We have to learn the process of getting there and stop having these knee-jerk emotional reactions to what's coming up. Head Temple of the Wandering Sage. So the 47th hexagram is telling you all you need to know. So go and look at the 47th hexagram and then make your decision. So again, it is a state of practice. I mean, does a bodybuilder go into the gym, a 90-pound weakling, and come out muscular, fit? No, what does he do? He spends hours and hours, days and weeks and months to build his body to the peak of physicality. So too are you going to have to train your muscles and train your mind and train your pattern of breathing to be at rest when these trigger mechanisms come up. Otherwise, you're going to be here, you're going to be there, you're going to be a psychopath. And there's a lot of mental illness in the Black community, undiagnosed mental illness. And the powers that be, the ruling elite, do not want to recognize the fact that Black people have mental disorders, mental illness coming from slavery. They don't want us to be healthy. They don't want us to be at peace. Because the secret is, when you are emotional, your IQ drops. When you're at peace, your IQ increases. So they know that we make irrational decisions when we're emotional, which is why we cannot overcome this oppression that we're in, because we keep having an emotional response to it. Look at James Bond. Look how cool, calm, and collect he is. This is not an emotional man. This man doesn't have triggers. And when you're at that state of peace, you can see clearer the 30th hexagram in the I Ching. You can see things you've never seen before. Your third eye opens. But when you're acting out the animal spirit and you're all stressed and upset, your vision becomes cloudy. And again, you make irrational decisions. This is especially true for women because you're more right-brained than left-brained. So your right brain is going to connect you with your emotions. So you have to be careful. And this is why the thousands of years ago, the first priests were the priestesses who trained themselves on how to be at peace. And many times they would lock themselves away up in the cave, surrounded by ancient herbs and incense, to go into the state of trance, to come out and be able to disseminate wisdom and knowledge. Because when you get at that state of peace, you have access to the Akashic records, God's wisdom. So I wanted to just drop that message to you all in this short video, so you understand that someone telling you to be at peace does not help you in any way, shape, or form. You've got to train the body and train the mind to do it as a reflex. Because now your natural reflex is emotionalism, hyper-emotionalism. Look at that. Was it Ty? I forgot his name. The brother that the police squadron beat up, yanked him out of his car, and they played that over and over on the news. That was to get you into an emotional state and make you feel a certain type of way. And the same thing goes, and this is what I was alluding to earlier about depression. You can't walk up to a person and say, don't be depressed. Think about the good side. Think about this and that. No, sometimes depression goes really deep into a chemical imbalance. Other times it's just a continued pattern of behavior, of thoughts that puts them into a state of depression. So you have to examine what the person is going through. If they're depressed, you simply can't go and say, think a happy thought. It doesn't work. So be mindful of what you say and how you say it to people. This is why you have charlatans like your Anthony Robbins who will get you to pay $15,000 for a seminar and get you there and put you in a state of trance, which is a state of happiness and motivation, for about an hour, and then it wears off after a week. And you're back to your same old person, because you have to train the body to stay in that state. It doesn't happen with one motivational session. It doesn't. I'm sorry. And no one can really be happy 24/7. That's why in Eastern religions, you don't read in a sacred text, the goal is to be happy. No, it's not. The goal is to be at peace. And part of that is being detached from material things. Understanding that those material things don't define you. And they're not you. So I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you get an opportunity, please donate to the channel. Your donations are always appreciated. This is Qesankh Keparu, son of Ma'at and Tahuti. Ma'at is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amen Ra.